Hey, hi, and welcome to my channel. My name is Chastity. Here we talk about beauty, entertainment, celebrities, books, movies, anime, TV shows, and kind of anything else that garners my attention this week. And today we're talking about something that honestly in the year 2023 I never thought I'd have to talk about again. But we're talking about Tarte and their latest brand trip. If you don't keep up with makeup, you probably don't know, but Tarte is a cosmetic brand that was founded over 20 years ago by a woman named Maureen Kelly. Now, Tarte is a brand that at one point was definitely a titan in the makeup industry. It was like Charlotte Tilbury, Tarte, MAC, Anastasia Beverly Hills. You know, those were like the top tier girls in makeup. Now, I don't know if Tarte started this, but to my knowledge and what I had seen, the first time I had ever seen a makeup brand do a brand trip was Tarte. Tripping with Tarte, if you remember those days of like early YouTube makeup. Now, Tarte is a brand that has been in several of controversies over the year. And that's why with everything that happened this weekend, it just felt super nostalgic. It felt like we were back on like the heyday of the makeup community over on YouTube, especially with Tarte being in the middle of the drama, because for some reason Tarte, and especially Tarte trips, always filled with dramas. So I'm making this video not really to talk about the drama, because I feel like it's been hashed out enough, but I will like explain what happened. But I just feel like we've all forgotten the plot, and that like we're all busy piling on these black content creators when the bad guy really is and always is Tarte. Now, before I talk about what happened over the weekend, I think I should probably explain to some people who may not know what a brand trip is and how this all kind of started. Now, I feel like, again, we have to take it back to like the early 2010s, mid 2010s, right? When people on YouTube went from just being people making silly content to being influencers, especially in the beauty sphere, where it went from women and young girls in their room doing their makeup and, you know, giving out tips and tricks to becoming influential in the beauty sphere and getting makeup products sold out and getting people to try things, right? It's so interesting now at like 24 years old, and I've just kind of watched YouTube change and evolve. Again, from people just posting silly videos to now, this is how people are making livings, right? And makeup and makeup, especially like beauty content on YouTube at the time, was extremely lucrative. Not just for you, a content creator, but for these brands. A lot of these brands were slowly starting to die out, especially with the introduction of social media. There were a lot of brands that just really couldn't keep up with the times and pivot. Now, one of those brands who were able to pivot were Tarte. Tarte very quickly understood the value of content creators. The concept of brand trips have definitely evolved from their very, very meek and humble beginnings back in the early 2010s, where brands were like sending YouTubers on like these cute little mini trips, to now these brands are shelling out hundreds of thousands and sometimes even millions of dollars, sending influencers to like Dubai and like Turks and Caicos and Greece and all this stuff. And it is insane the amount of money, you know, that is on the line for these trips. And like before, it was just like brand trips were more like a thank you to YouTubers for all they have done for the brand. And now like you're going on these trips and usually you get like a whole, I don't know how to describe like the behind the scenes of influencing, but usually you'll get like a brief that, and you also have to like sign NDAs and contracts, all that stuff, explaining like the events of that weekend or week trip you're taking, itineraries, what you need to be doing, like as in like the content you are going to be creating during this weekend, because it's not just like a free trip. Like you have to also be working, aka making content, whether it's getting ready with me's, whether it's outfit try-ons, like what I'm gonna wear today, or it's like vlogging, like your whole like packing, getting on the flight and going, or you're vlogging your time there. But influencers are still working even on these brand trips. Again, I'm using the word working loosely compared to like what you and I do as like non big influencers. Like those of us who have 9 to 5 jobs, like would not view, vlogging a free vacation as working. But for the influencer side, that's them working. And one of the biggest perpetrators of these like huge brand trips is Tarte. Again, I will always remember like the tripping with Tarte and all the drama that would come with Tarte. Blah. It is not a Tarte brand trip unless there is massive drama. Like I mentioned, Tarte and drama go hand in hand. Tarte is a brand that has always struggled with inclusivity. From the early 2010s to even still today, there being like extensive shade ranges is still a huge problem for Tarte. If you've been paying attention to the beauty community for a very long time, then you remember the iconic video from Jackie Aina and Alyssa Ashley where they're like talking about Tarte's new concealers and they're reading off the shades, and it's like fair light, fair medium, beige light, beige medium. And there's a whole slew of concealers for people with lighter complexions. And then for people with darker complexions, there's 3. Okay, so that's the type of time Tarte has always been on. They've always made it very apparent that their demographic is people with lighter complexions, and that people with darker complexions have always been an afterthought. And the same sentiment can be seen in their brand trips. You can very much so tell that they are catering to the white content creators and now content creators that have bigger followings. And Black and brown content creators are an afterthought. There'll be like maybe 4 or 5 Black girls, 1 Asian girl, maybe 1 Latina girl, because she might be one of the white girls if she is a white Latina. It's not very often that you see a very visibly non-white passing Latina on these types of brand trips. And even like the treatment can be different. There is a content creator who is brown, who also recently went on a trip with Tarte where she talked about the fact that like her room was a lot different than some of the other girls. Now, Tarte had came out and said that the rooms are picked like on lottery, like they're randomly assigned, or there's like they have an assigning process to the rooms. I am interested in seeing how that process doesn't involve follower count and skin tone. Because it's very interesting to me that everyone that's a smaller creator and everyone that's brown, which usually that goes hand in hand, smaller creators are usually Black and brown people, how they all got the regular rooms and the white girls, all the followers, got the villas. So for Tarte's latest trip, they brought down a bunch of influencers to Miami to go watch the Grand Prix, which is a racing thing. I can't give you more than that because that's like race cars, not my sport of choice. I don't sport already, period, but especially not cars. That don't make sense to me. But that was this weekend's trip to Miami. Me personally, Miami, Florida, when you've taken girls to Dubai, no. But there was a content creator named Bree who was invited to the event. She agreed to go and all that stuff. And I guess she was maybe looking at her flight information because, again, they fly them out. And now the race is on Sunday. But I guess she was booked to go home like Saturday night. And according to her, at least with her email correspondence with Tarte, she was supposed to be at the race. So she was very confused as to why, and very hurt that, some content creators were going to stay for the entire weekend and be able to go see the race and some others were not. And she felt like she was not picked to do that because, one, she is a smaller creator, and two, she is a black creator, and she just felt very othered and very ostracized, and very much so hurt, because this is a great opportunity. And she's like, if I'm going for the weekend of the Grand Prix, why won't I go and see the Grand Prix? Which I fully understand. Even though I'm not super into racing, if that's what the event is about, that's what I'm going to Miami for, I might as well go experience the race. And so the whole situation blows up, and you have a lot of people rallying behind Brie, because we do feel bad, because brands keep doing this. They treat smaller content creators and black and brown content creators differently than they do the people with a whole bunch of followers and white content creators, regardless of size. Because I've definitely been in situations where I've been offered pennies to the dollar, and a content creator that has even less of a following than me got offered way more money than me. So like, it's not just size. Race does sometimes, and a lot of times, really comes into play. The brand owner, for some really odd and strange reason, made a video where she's like doing her hair and her makeup and like discussing this. And I want you to understand how like nonchalant and blasé it looks to see someone talking about, like bias and people not getting fair treatment based on follower count and race while you're doing your makeup and doing your hair. And it was very much so giving like toxic positivity. And she was talking about how, it's a lottery, people are picked at random, and not everyone was supposed to go to the race. That they picked some content creators to do some stuff and then go home Saturday, and then other content creators to stay for the whole weekend. And that she personally really didn't think anyone really would care about the Grand Prix. But I'm like, that's the whole point of the weekend in Miami. That's the big thing that's happening, the Grand Prix. Why would I not want to go see it? Even if I don't care about racing, this is what this event is for. This is what this trip is about, the Grand Prix. So why would I go all the way to Miami for the weekend of it and not see it? For her, she was like, I just like going on trips and like going out and having a fun time and meeting new people. I never thought anyone would actually care about the Grand Prix. Bitch, what? Now, after this whole thing blows up and Bria decides to not go on the trip, me personally, I feel like it's damage control, but whatever. There is, I think about, I don't know if all of these women were previously invited, but for a fact, there were 3 black content creators, Fanita, Specs, Blazer, all that stuff, who were invited to go on the trip like last minute. When I mean last minute, I mean their flights were booked that night, and they had to hop on a plane, get a layover, and then come down to Miami for the weekend, aka just like pretty much the last day. These young black women being invited to the trip last minute, started a fire this weekend. It was bad. There were people saying that they're not standing on code, that another creator just said that they're racist. Why would you show up and go to this trip with them if they're not treating their black content creators properly? Yada, yada, yada. Now, we need handlers, not just for black content creators, for content creators, period. Content creators should not be able, while in the middle of a situation, be able to go on live and just get talking. Regardless if you are right or wrong, there needs to be reviewed statements at all times. Because Fanita and the rest of the girls go on live and they're making videos, a lot of which have not been deleted. And it just wasn't a good look for them. It turned a lot of people off. I have my feelings about Fanita and the rest of the girls going. My issue is just Tarte has always not done right by black consumers. Why are we going on Tarte trips? You're going on a trip for a brand that does not make makeup dark enough for you to use. That goes to Bria as well. Brand trips for brands that don't make makeup that you can use. That's all I have to say about that. That's all I have to say. That's my disappointment to any black person that chooses to work with Tarte. Tarte doesn't care about you. Tarte doesn't cater to you. Why are you doing this for them? But that's just how I personally feel, and I don't think any black person should be working for Tarte. I don't believe any black person should be buying makeup from Tarte. We are not a priority to them. They should not be a priority to us. But Fanita and the rest of the girls got a whole bunch of backlash. I think some of it is from just them not being able to articulate the situation well and able to really talk about it in a nuanced way. Now, since the situation, Bria did make another statement, another video, where she says that there was a miscommunication on both parts, a copy and paste error, because the thing with these brands are like, they're not sending you like an individualized message. A lot of the times it is just copy and paste to everybody. And so there was an error in that. And Bria never really asked for clarification and then ran to social media because she was hurt. And that's truly what you do in 2023. You run to social media and you let out your feelings. So it turned a lot bigger than it should have been. There was just a minor miscommunication, but the black girls on the trip are the ones that really got the heat for it, because a lot of people were like, you're not standing on code. And I personally don't think those people are wrong. Not even because they went after the Bria situation. You went on a trip to a brand that does not like or care for dark-skinned people. And you were glad to be there. That just bothers me a little bit, just how happy they were to get scraps. Because again, you were not initially invited. You were a last minute invite. Me personally, I will never be an afterthought. If I wasn't good enough to be originally invited, don't invite me at all. But I'm my own person. I'm not Fanita or the rest of the girls. They move and they have different, ideals than I do. Me personally, I get invited from the beginning, or am I going at all? But again, we are different people. We have different morals. We move differently. They were excited to go. I would have said no. Because I have to fly out the same night. Like, Fanita didn't even have her hair done. Like, her hair was outgrown. Like, she didn't even have the opportunity to get her hair redone. Like, how am I going on a trip with my hair and my nails not done? I can't. I'm sorry. Like, there's just, like, things I have to do before I go on a trip. And, like, either you gotta go get waxed, you gotta get your nails done, you gotta get your feet done, you gotta get your hair done. Like, and you can't do that in a lot of times. It's less than 24 hours. But those three young women definitely got a lot of heat. One of the girls, Specs, something not right with her. She was calling herself like the new Harriet Tubman. It was strange. It was weird. My thing is, I get, being slightly disappointed in the three young black women that, attended the trip after this whole situation. Regardless of if you believe Bria should have even came to social media or not, I'm just confused why Tarte has stopped getting lashings, and all of the lashings are going to these young black women. This whole situation is created and would not exist without Tarte. Tarte is the problem. Okay? Bria, Fanita, all them, disappointing. Because why are we going on Tarte trips when Tarte does not believe dark-skinned people exist? But again, the problem here is that Tarte is the problem. We need to be dragging Tarte. But I do understand dragging black content creators for going on trips with Tarte, because they don't make makeup that you can use. And it is very annoying how quickly Black content creators are fine with just getting scraps from these brands that do not cater to them, and watching how they expect so much more from smaller Black brands than they do these white brands that have all the money in the world and still do the bare minimum. You ask for so much from us, but not much from them. Because I promise you, if like Fenty Beauty were doing trips and they were inviting people like so last minute that like you had like 6 hours to pack, people would be dragging them for it. But Tarte can do that, and it's like, I'm just so grateful to be an afterthought. I want more for you. I want you to want more for yourself. And stop working and doing so much for brands. That's another thing. Fanita and the rest of the girls, they're doing a lot of talking for Tarte. Tarte has yet to come out with a statement defending any of these young women. They have not said a thing since the initial, oh my god, I'm so sorry, I didn't know you want to go to the Grand Prix. Weird toxic positivity statement. Tarte has somehow left the scene of the crime with a knife. They're leaving this virtually unscathed from a situation they have created. Because y'all are too busy dragging these young Black women where we need to be dragging Tarte. Because this is something Tarte has always done and will continue to do. Because quite honestly, when has there ever been a Tarte trip that does not end in drama? Like, we're really missing the plot of the situation, but Fanita and the other girls are making it very hard to stay on topic because they keep making videos, and again, we need media training. We need media training badly, because every new video they make just makes the whole situation seem a lot worse. A lot worse. And it's just like, you gotta be like, yo, and it's like, I could understand. It's very hard to stay on topic because every time you're like, yo, this brand, and then Fanita make another video. And I'm like, Fanita, stop fucking talking. Please. You're doing a lot of this. And you know who's silent? Tarte. The people at fault. They're very silent. I really just think she should have just went on her trip, posted her little content, and then came back home. She should have never, none of those girls actually, should have never engaged with any of the drama. Because they just made everything so much worse. Because again, they have no media training. And they don't quite understand the nuances. Again, especially with the fact that this is a brand that does not care about Black people. Like, again, no brand truly cares because this is about making money, but they care so little. Tarte is willing to miss out on money. Tarte dislikes Black and brown people so much that they're willing to miss out on the money they can get from us, okay? That's how you know that hate is deep. Where you're like, I don't even care about the coins. I just don't want to make anything for you. Okay? Again, I don't understand this glee of wanting to, especially go to Miami? Miami? Not Turks and Caicos, not even Cancun. You went to Miami. Because personally, if this was a trip to Dubai, I would 100% be on Fanita's side. No ifs, ands, or buts. A free trip to Dubai, y'all could suck my ass. I'm so sorry. I am so sorry. But a trip to Miami, the place where friendships go to die, you gonna throw away your standing for Miami. And I do know why some people are also mad at Fanita, because she just, oh my god, this thing's not singing my nose. Just had this whole thing with Pyrex and saying that Pyrex do not care about Black content creators and they don't pay us fairly, yada yada yada. and then to have the Brie video happen, and then you get gleefully go on a brand trip. I think I'm just not, what's losing me with Fanita and why I kind of get the lashing is how can you say that about Pyrex and then look at Tarte and not feel the exact same way about them, how they do not care about Black content creators and gleefully be a last minute invite. Like, I get it. I get the frustration with Black content creators just like saying things and doing other things. But the real villain here is Tarte. And I feel like, as Black people, no more going on Tarte trips. No more. And I can't even say no more buying Tarte products because I don't know many Black people that buy Tarte products. Well, because we can't. But the few times they make products that we can use, I don't really see many Black people like clamoring for Tarte products. I think I own one Tarte product and I bought it to make a video on it on TikTok. That's it. I didn't buy it because I'm like, I just love Tarte. It's trendy. You gotta hop on trends if you want to stay relevant. But outside of that, don't really care. I'm extra shiny. Hold on, I'm gonna go powder real quick. Okay, so we're back. I did powder. This is the best I can do because again, I am using a ring light, and so that light gonna hit me regardless. But I feel like I look a lot more like matte than I did before. If you're wondering what powder I'm using the Juvia's Place one. Not the point of this video, but I'm just saying I love that powder. Look at my under eyes, like I look amazing. But that's not the point. I just wish Black content creators would stop allowing themselves to be used by these white brands. They don't care for you, they don't like you, and a lot of them don't cater to you. And a lot of these brands are the antithesis of everything you supposedly stand for. And I wish you would stop giving them the time of day, because a lot of these brands would flop without you. You are so important to the marketing. You are so important to getting these brands out there. And if you stop playing into their games, they would fall apart. 100%. We hold so much more power than we think we do. And if we just valued ourselves more and stopped giving the white brands what they want, because somehow Tarte is not the focal point of all it is smoke, when all of this is Tarte's fault. Tarte is the problem here, but nobody is talking to Tarte because Tarte is silent. They are quiet during their own controversy. And I wish we would focus the majority of these feelings to Tarte, because I do still believe that Fanita and them do need not lashings but a talking to about working with brands that don't even make shades for you. Yeah, that's a problem. That's an absolute problem. Tarte does not give two fucks about any of you who went on that trip, because if they did, they make products for you to use. But they don't. They don't make products for you to use. But you're on the trip. Also, like, I don't understand why Fanita was invited to begin with, because Fanita does not make makeup content. Like, she's not a beauty influencer. She's a beautiful girl, but she doesn't make beauty content. To her being there, kind of weird, kind of strange. But if I'm just gonna take that at face value, cool, she's there. I just need Tarte to get more lashings, because they've really just snuck out. They're no longer getting the lashings they deserve. But I do understand just being slightly disappointed in Fanita and some of the other girls that went, because again, this is a brand that don't care about you. Why are we going on the trips? Especially, again, if this is a trip, Turks and Caicos, you know, Dubai, Greece, you know, real nice places. Okay. I get it. Because I ain't been to no Greece. I would love to go to Greece for free. Okay, but Miami? Oh, they has to go to Miami? That is disappointing. You're in crazy controversy, and all you went to was Miami. Also, I do feel like we need PR people, because I don't necessarily disagree with Fanita, but I disagree with how she is handling the situation and how she is speaking about it. I feel like she just doesn't have the ability to fully understand what's happening, because she is fairly young. But I don't think she's able to see the full scope of the situation and to talk about it in the delicate manner that it needs to be talked about, so she won't get dragged. Because she's continuously getting dragged. It is crazy to watch. But again, I need y'all to be attacking Tarte with this same energy, because we have stopped talking about Tarte, which is the plot of the movie. The villain, the actual villain here, is Tarte. I need y'all to be in Tarte's behind. And stop buying their products. And stop going to brand trips. Just stop associating with Tarte altogether. But yeah, that's it for me. What are your guys' thoughts and opinions on the whole situation? Again, I fully understand the criticism of the black women that went on the trip with Tarte. Honestly, I look at all black people who go on Tarte trips a little sideways, because they don't like you. But I feel like we need to still be giving Tarte its lashings, because this is all Tarte's fault. And it feels like Tarte just kind of got to slide on by, and I don't like that, because the heat's all on the black girls. No. But I also fully understand why the heat's on the black girls, because they don't have media training, and everything they say just makes everything worse. Fanita, I love you, baby. You my girl. Get some media training. The way you're talking, the way you speaking is not making it better. Not even a little bit. And the way that Tarte has not come to none of y'all defense, to be like, oh, they're not here to make us look good after this bruise situation. They were always intended, but stuff, nothing. It is radio silence from Tarte. And that should also teach you that these brands are not your friends. But yeah, that's it for me. What are your guys' thoughts and opinions on the whole situation? I'll see you guys in my next one. Bye, guys.